Have you ever wondered what all you have to do in order to start your own website? Then you have landed in the right place, as I am going to teach you almost everything that you need to know while you take the first few steps towards building an amazing website. In the second lesson, I taught you about the modules that make up digital marketing. Now in this lesson, I am going to walk you through some very important stuff that you need to know before starting a website or a blog. So in this lesson, I am going to share with you what is a domain name, what is a domain name extension, which is also known with the name of top level domain, what is hosting, how many types of hosting do we have, and which hosting type is gonna suit you the best. Now before I start, I would like to request you all to subscribe to the channel and as well as press the bell icon so you don't miss the super valuable videos that would be coming as a part of this course in the future as well. Hi everyone, it's Sushant Arora, the founder and CEO of In-Class Learning. I hope you're getting to learn a lot of new things from this course. Now let's just take this learning journey a step forward and start off with what is a domain name. Now, like we have a name which people use to refer to us, a website also has a name which people will use to access it on the internet, and that name is called as the domain name of a website. So what's a domain name? A domain name is a text-based name of your website used to access your website. In simple words, you can say domain name is a text which a user types into the address bar of a browser to access a particular website. For example, domain name for YouTube is youtube.com. So for example, you have to access YouTube. That means you're going to open your browser and you're going to type in the address bar youtube.com and then you're going to press enter, right? So you are referring to youtube.com with the help of this name. You are referring to YouTube with the help of this name, youtube.com. So this is domain name. In case you want to access Google, you're going to type in the address bar google.com or google.in, right? Now let's talk about domain name extension. A domain name extension is the last part of a domain name after the dot and is used to designate the category or country code for a website. For example, the domain name extension in inclasslearning.com is going to be .com. In google.co.in, it's going to be .co.in. In facebook.in, it is going to be .in. So it is the last part of a domain name after the dot. Right. Now it's worth mentioning over here that a domain name extension is also sometimes called as top level domain, that is TLD. Now I just told you that domain name extension is used to designate the category or country code for a website. So the question is, what is the category of a website? See, websites belong to different categories based upon whether the website represents a government organization, a for-profit company, or an educational institution, or anything else. Now let's talk about some of the most common domain name extensions. Now there are certain domain name extensions which would represent category of a website, like I already told you. For example, an example of a domain name extension which is an internet category is .com, which is used to designate that the website is meant for commercial purpose. .org for organizations, .gov for government organizations, .edu for educational institutions, and there are certain others as well, like .mil for military, .net for a network, and so on, right? So these are the domain name extensions which would represent certain categories. That means the category to which that certain website belongs, right? Now what is a country code? See, each country has its own top level domain or domain name extension that helps to identify that site as being from a specific country. Let's talk about some examples of country code domain name extensions like .in for India, .us for US, .uk for United Kingdom, and .co for Colombia. Now it's worth mentioning that if you are living or running a business in the US, it doesn't mean that you can't buy a .in domain and vice versa. So if I'm living in India and I want to represent my business in the US, I can prefer to have a .us domain extension, and that doesn't have to do anything with the fact that I'm living in India. The point is that I want to represent my business to the people living in the US, so it would make more sense to have a website with a .us domain extension, which in the first place is the country code of US. So these extensions can be used for more than just identifying locations and can be used by any business or individual across the world. Now, creating a website is the first step. If we want people to be able to access our website on the internet, we need to find some space on the internet where we can store our website. In other words, you can say that your website needs some space on the internet to live, and from where it can be accessed by people browsing the internet. And that certain space where your website along with all of its files would be stored is a server. And a server is nothing but a very powerful computer which is used to store your website along with all of its files. Now, storing your website on a server can be done in two ways. Either you purchase a server and store your website on it and hire a team of experts to manage it for you, or you rent some space on a server that a hosting service provider owns. Now, it's pretty obvious that we cannot purchase our own servers and place our website on that, as it would be too costly, especially when you are running a small scale business. So instead, we would pay some money to hosting providers on a monthly basis, and in return of that, they will provide us some space on their servers where we will store our website and its files. It's very much like, let's say, if we want to start an office but ain't got the money to purchase an office or land, we would rent an office, right? So we are going to do the same thing over here, and that leads us to one of the most important topics. What is hosting? Hosting is a service provided by hosting service providers like GoDaddy, SiteGround, in which they allocate some space on their servers to store our website and its files in return of a monthly fee that we need to pay. So when I sign up for a web hosting service with any of the hosting service providers, I am renting some space on their servers and storing my website on it instead of purchasing my own server to do it. And in that process, I am saving a huge amount of money. In simple words, when a hosting service provider is allocating some space on their server for a website to store its files, they are hosting a website. Now let's talk about the types of hosting that we can choose from. So there are four main types of hosting. Number 1, shared web hosting. Number 2, dedicated server hosting. Number 3, virtual private server hosting, which is also known as VPS hosting. And number 4, cloud hosting. Now we're going to start off with shared web hosting and we'll try to understand each one of them in a detailed manner. In shared web hosting, your website will be sharing space on a server with multiple websites. In other words, you can say that multiple websites are stored on the same physical server, and they'll be sharing storage space as well as other resources of the server like RAM, CPU, etc. with all the other websites that are hosted on the same server. In other words, you can say that multiple websites are stored on the same physical server, and they'll be sharing storage space as well as resources of the server like RAM, CPU, etc. with other websites which are hosted on the same server. So let's consider an example. Let's say I'm planning to rent a house in New Delhi, and I found out a house that has 2 rooms, but the rent cost is going out of my budget. So what I did is, I knew that I would need only 1 room out of the 2. So I found out another person who was looking to rent space in the same area but was facing the same budget problem, and I asked him if he wanted to share the same house, and we could then take 1 room each in that house, share storage space, laundry, etc. And that way we would have a way of sharing the rent as well, so we don't have to pay the entire rent by ourselves. Right? Now, isn't it a good thing that we would be living in the same house but neither of us has to pay the entire rent? And that is the same thing which is happening in shared hosting. Your website is sharing the space with several other websites on the same physical server, so you don't have to pay the rent for entire server but only for a small space of that server that your website will be using. Makes sense? Now, this is what makes shared web hosting the most cheap hosting type, and which is why shared web hosting is the most suitable option for anybody who's just starting off a website. So whether you are a small business owner, a blogger, an entrepreneur, or even a housewife doing business from home, shared web hosting is the way to go if you are just starting your website. But it's worth noticing that since the websites are sharing the resources, a sudden traffic spike on a website hosted on the same server would mean it will consume more resources, like it will consume more RAM, it will consume more CPU, etc. So there's a probability that your website load time may increase because the resources are not dedicated to any one website. It's like when I'm sharing house with the other person, I would be sharing all the resources as well. Now, if on a certain day he uses a lot of water, then I'd be left with less water to use for my own course. right? But shared web hosting still remains the best option if you are just starting out or don't have a lot of visitors to your website. Now let's talk about dedicated hosting. In dedicated hosting, the entire server is reserved for your website. In other words, you can say that only your website will be stored on that server and all the resources of that server will be dedicated to your website. There would be no sharing. You can think of it as a big house owned by you and only you would be living in it and using all of its resources like parking, laundry, rooms, etc. Now, dedicated hosting is good for the people or companies who have high level of website traffic and who need all the resources of a server. Now it's worth mentioning that to manage a dedicated server, you need the technical expertise to set up and manage the server, or you can hire somebody with the expertise of doing it. But like I said, dedicated hosting is only for the websites which have very high incoming traffic. So when you are just starting your blog or website, dedicated hosting is nowhere to be considered. Shared web hosting in that case is the best way to go, but if you already have traffic in a huge number, then you might want to consider dedicated or VPS hosting, which is the next type of hosting that we are going to discuss. So what is virtual private server hosting? That is VPS hosting. In VPS hosting, your website will be sharing the server with other websites, but a part or section of that server will be reserved for your website only, and that section is going to act like a separate physical server. Yes, it will be sharing the same physical server, but your website will have its own dedicated storage space on that server and its own dedicated resources. So the resources won't be shared, as is the case in shared web hosting. Let's take a real world example to understand it. Let's say I own a land and I built a 4-floor house on it. Now I want to give those 4 floors on rent to different people. Now person A signs a deal and rents the first floor. Similarly, person B rents the second, person C rents the third, and person D rents the 4th floor. Now every floor of that land is rented by a different person and all the resources of that floor would belong to that person, right? Now A has its own storage space, its own laundry and a reserved parking spot, which it doesn't have to share with B, C or D, and the same stands true for each one of them. Similarly, you can think of a server as a land and the sections of server as floors. Those will be divided amongst the websites as the floors were divided amongst people. So if a section of that server is allocated to a website, that section along with all the storage space and all other resources will belong to that website only, and no other website can access or share that. So VPS hosting is the go-to option if you want your own server space, your own resources and the control of dedicated hosting, but you don't need the amount of space and power that dedicated hosting gives you. VPS hosting is just like a bridge between shared web hosting and dedicated hosting. It gives you full control of your resources, like you can change server configurations, install softwares, etc. Very much like dedicated hosting, but it's not that expensive as dedicated hosting. So it's like an intermediate option between the dedicated hosting and shared web hosting. Now let's talk about cloud hosting. Before I proceed, there is one thing that you must know, and that is what is cloud. Simply put, it's all of the things you can access remotely over the internet. And what do I mean to say when I am saying access remotely over the internet? I am saying that you can access your files or your resources from practically anywhere. So when something is in the cloud, it means it's stored on the internet servers instead of your computer's hard drive. Let's take an example to understand it. When you want to access a file which you have stored on your computer, you need to have the computer physically present with you to access that file, right? But when you place that file on Google Drive, all you need is a phone or a laptop or a computer, and you're going to be able to access that file from anywhere and from any device. Makes sense? So Google Drive is an example of a cloud on which you store your files. Now those files may be placed on a server which is a part of their data center in the US or in India or anywhere. But you are able to access all your files and you're doing so remotely. That means over the internet. So what is cloud hosting? In cloud hosting, you don't utilize a single server, but rather a group of servers that runs in the cloud. And like I told you, what's a cloud? A cloud is nothing but a cluster of a lot of servers which are spread over some geographical area. So in cloud hosting, you are not utilizing a single server, but rather a group of servers that runs in the cloud. Now, when I say that we do not utilize a single server, rather a group of servers that runs in the cloud, that simply means that an up-to-date copy of your website is going to be stored on each server which is a part of that cluster. Now, what benefit would it serve us? To understand that, let's consider an example. Let's say our website is stored on a shared server, and that server is already busy in serving the requests of other websites which are stored on it. So in such a case, if somebody tries to access my website, it would be down and nobody is going to be able to access it, right? Because the server on which my website is stored is already busy. But in cloud hosting, a copy of your website is stored on multiple servers, and when one server is busy and it cannot serve your website visitors, the cluster would automatically redirect the people who are trying to access your website to a server which is less busy and can serve your website visitors. And due to this, cloud hosting comes with no downtime, as there is always going to be a server in the cluster that can serve the requests of your website visitors. So that's all in the third lesson of this free digital marketing course. I hope you're enjoying the course and as well as learning a lot of new things out of it. Drop a yes in the comment section below so I get to know how many of you are actually learning from the course. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. And a big piece of advice, if you haven't followed us on Instagram yet, then you are definitely missing out on a lot of valuable content. Follow us now to dominate the digital marketing arena. The link to the same is given in the description below. In the next video, we are going to learn how to purchase a domain as well as hosting for your website and would take a step further towards building an amazing website. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. You might also want to subscribe to the channel if you are new to it, and also don't forget to hit the bell icon so you don't miss the super valuable videos. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, bye bye, take care.